All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another edition of the Scoreboard Show right here on the Tri-Cities Best Country. I'm Kid Coggins here on a Thursday afternoon. Now, we're going to talk about a lot of football during this recording of this broadcast of the Scoreboard Show. So, last week's game between Science Hill versus Westridge. I have to say that was a pretty crazy game because at the start of the game, there was no score whatsoever, and that remained almost throughout the whole first quarter. And now Science Hill did finally get a 7-0 lead, but then Westridge took it over. Yeah, they took it over with a 7-7 lead. So we had a tie after that. And then Westridge took even more of a lead with the score being 14-7. And then by around halftime, the score was 14-14. And in fact, a while before halftime, the score was 14-14. But then, thankfully, by the third quarter, Science Hill was able to regain what they had lost and take over with a score of 21-14, which subsequently led the final score to being 27-14. Now, at some point in the game, I heard the announcer, or at least I thought I heard him say 47-14. But I was thinking to myself, well, how can it be 47-14 if it's only 21-14 right now? Turns out he was saying 27-14, and I had just misheard him, where I thought he said 47-14, but it was actually him saying 27-14. So the final score for Science Hill versus Westridge was 27-14. Now, this upcoming week, well, actually tomorrow, more specifically, Science Hill will take on Morristown East, and Westridge will take on Jefferson County. Now, Kyle Cooper from ESPN Tri-Cities WKTP did say, we pretty much know who's going to win that battle. Now, Westridge, keep in mind, has had a pretty good football team this year because, after all, they did defeat David Crockett. But Jefferson County has even had a better team. They've had a real good team this year, to the point where they defeated both Science Hill and Dobyns-Bennett, where they actually won by the last 4 minutes of the game on both of those ball games. But I'll tell you what, I feel like that might be a strategy for them to just play around and do whatever until like the last 4 minutes of the game. Then they come shooting in, and they're ready to win the thing. So we'll see if they pull the same strategy coming up tomorrow when they'll play Westridge. And, of course, you can listen to the coverage of that game on 104.9 WKOS-FM Nash Icon. And as for other games from this past weekend, Elizabethton beat Dobyns-Bennett. They hadn't played each other in 16 years, but they beat Dobyns-Bennett by a score of 14-7. So they didn't really beat them by much, and I actually thought that they were going to have a bigger numbered score. I thought their score was going to have a bigger number than what it did. But apparently, Science Hill, at least for some Tri-Cities games, Science Hill was the one that had the bigger number. And at least that part. Now, Tennessee High, let's talk about that. They beat out, let's see, I believe they played the Green Devils. I'll actually check the recording because I did record Scott Stevens from ESPN Tri-Cities going over the scores, so I will check that one to see which team they played. But they won that game. They won their game by a score of 42-13, and Tennessee Vols won against South Carolina of 41-20. So I'll come back with more score updates right here on the Scoreboard Show in just a moment. So we'll be right back with more of the Scoreboard Show in just a moment. So stay tuned. Alright, so I am glad that I did go back and check the recording because I figured I was wrong about the team, and I was. Tennessee High played Gate City. And that final score was 42-13. But stay tuned, because I've got more scores coming up in just a bit. Now, what I'm basically doing is I'm just pausing the recording so I don't have to have multiple recordings with this. But anyways, stay tuned. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, I am back, and I've got more scores for you. So, Cherokee over Granger. That was 34-14 lead. I don't believe that was the final. And I don't know if this is final or not. But that was 34-14 lead over Cherokee and Granger. But I don't believe the next one I'm about to say. I don't know if this is final or not. But Daniel Boone over Cock County was 35-0. And Tennessee Vols this weekend are off. So no game on Saturday. But they'll be back next week as they take on Texas AMA. And let's see here. Science Hill takes a week off next week, and Boone will play them at on Science Hill's turf. Science Hill will play Boone at home about 2 weeks from now. And after that, we have the final game with Dobbins Benton. I don't really know if that determines whether I want to say it does, but I am gonna have to ask some people about that and give an update on this, because I want to say that the final game does determine whether you go to playoffs, and I'm pretty sure it does, but I just want to ask around to be sure that I'm correct on that before I actually say that that's what happens. But anyways, I've got more scores to provide, so I'll be back in a moment. Alright, so I hope that this is true. I'm pretty sure. So apparently Greenville did defeat Sullivan East 56-7. That's at least what was told on the radio Friday evening last weekend. Thanks again to Scott Stevens for doing the final scoreboard show. And I have to say that Greenville has come a long way since those no contest games when they played Dobbins Bennett, and I believe it was Morristown West when they had another no contest. But anyways, we're gonna go a little bit past what I do here and talk a little bit about Gatlinburg Pittman, to see what that score was. So back in a moment. Alright, so I'm back, and Gatlinburg Pittman defeated Unicoi County over, like, I believe that was a pretty crazy game, right? They defeated them 46-0, and I just wonder if that was a home game for Unicoi or whether it was where they had to travel. But anyways, yeah, 46-0. That is a pretty good lead right there. Tell you what, that's pretty good right there. So, all right, there we go. Let's take a look now at Pigeon Forge. They played Johnson County And the update that Scott gave on Friday was 22 to 20. So with Johnson County in the lead. So that essentially, I guess they won that one. I mean, unless Pigeon Forge just came in by the last second and just destroyed them, then I'm just gonna say that they won that one, because 22 to 20. That is a pretty dang close game for that. Boy, nothing like high school football in Tennessee. I mean, like, football is a lot more serious, and a lot, like, there's a lot that goes into it than just basketball or baseball. I mean, especially basketball, because basketball, you're just playing it in a gym. You're not even in a press box. And baseball, oh, you're in a press box, but it's not as exciting as football. I mean, I'm just being honest. Baseball is really not all that exciting. And basketball, it's, pretty exciting, but I think football is probably, out of the 3 games, football is the most exciting one. So we're gonna take a look at some more scores now. All right, so here's another score and another team. So yeah, since I recorded that, I'm covering more things now. I might do that every Friday night, just record it and go back and listen to it, actually record or cover more things, cover more scores more specifically here in the show. So we had Chucky Doak over Claiborne County. Yeah, Chucky Doak defeating Claiborne County 27 to 6. All right, that's more close to the Knoxville area, I believe, with Chucky Doak. I wonder if it's somewhere near the Nolichucky River. Yeah, might have to look that up later. All right. Well, let's see what other things we got here now. All right, I really I know somebody who's probably happy about this score. I mean, I can think of some people. Hampton rolling over Eagleton Academy. Yeah, 51 to 13. My gosh, that's a pretty good game there. I just kind of wonder. I wonder if anybody rolled over Happy Valley or Cloudland. I guess we're about to find out. So let's see here. Let's see what they did. See how well they did with their game, at their football game on Friday night. Let's see how they did now. All right, here's another one for you. All right, got West Green and Cumberland Gap. So yeah, I'm covering all the scores that he covered. All right, got 49 to 22, believe it was. Now, I may not do this every week, but interesting where things can go when you cover a bunch of scores, having to pause and resume the recording. I'm actually glad that I'm pre-recording this and not doing it live, because, oh boy, that'd be a lot. But we're gonna continue here and get these scores and close this thing off, and actually get back to the music here in a few minutes or something like that. So we'll be back in a minute. And alright, the next one I have is not the final, but if you want final scores, you can, at least with the ones I don't have, you can go to CoachT.com and look those up. Anyways, looks like Cloudland was leading at the time North Green 30-8. So Cloudland did not get rolled over unless North Green just happened to take over, and it was good enough to crush Cloudland. It's like Jefferson County crushed Science Hill and Dobbins Bennett. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, it's pretty crazy how some of the rivalries can be, and how crazy the fans get in the stands. I mean, even being in the press box, you can hear that stuff. You can hear the fans going crazy. So, you know, I mean, there's that. Alright, let's get some more scores here. I think we got Jefferson County next, so let's see what Scott says about that. Alright, so I was wrong. It was not Jefferson County. It was Jellicoe leading Cosby 35-7. So yeah, this is kind of fun talking about all these scores and updates and everything. Now it is kind of a lot to record, but I probably won't do this every weekend. So that's why I tell you guys every Friday, tune in to the Final Scoreboard Show with Scott Stevens on ESPN Tri-Cities. So, yeah, we'll be back in a moment with more scores. So, keep your radio dial or phones right where they are, because we'll be right back in just a moment with more scores. Alright, so now we get to the point with Jefferson County and Morristown West. And at the point of the recording on Friday night, they were in overtime with the score tied at 20. So might get an update on this after the break, so I have to keep listening here, but you guys won't have to, because I'm pausing and resuming the recording. So making your all's life a little bit easier, because all you gotta do is listen to me. You don't have to listen to the recording that I gotta listen to. Anyways, we'll be back in just a minute with another score with the Lenoir and Morristown East score. How about that? We'll get that in just a minute. Alright, so the next score I'm going to talk about is Lenoir City versus Morristown East. And that score was exactly what I thought it was, but hey, it helps to check. If you've got it recorded, it helps to check it, so you're not telling people the wrong information, or at least if you do, check it again, and if it's wrong, correct it before you go off the air. Anyways, our final score was Lenoir City versus Morristown East, 29-19. With, I guess, Lenoir winning. If I had to guess, that's what it would be, but we'll find out here in a second. I know I keep saying here in a minute, but it's because it's almost a minute for me, but for you guys, it's only about not even a second. But we'll be right back. So just stay stay tuned in, I guess. We'll be back in a minute, or well, in a moment. That's shorter than a minute. So we'll be blah blah blah. We'll be back in a moment with more scores and updates and whatever else I can think of during the show. Alright, so it is Morristown East losing to Lenore City 29-19. And William Blount defeats Union County 56-0. So, yeah, there's more scores for you. We'll keep going here. So, yeah, we'll keep going here with the scores and updates. All right. You know what? What do you say we take a break here, and I'll play some music for you, and then we'll come back here in 10, 15, 20 minutes or so, and we'll get more scores. All right, so we'll be right back after we hear some music, because I know that this is mainly a musical show, and I've been talking about these scores for quite a while, and I know that it can get to a point where it's boring. So we'll just take a musical break and come back and talk some more about these scores and updates. So stay tuned, because we'll be right back about 10, 15, 20 minutes, somewhere in there. So stay tuned, because we'll be right back very shortly, right here on the Tri-Cities Best Country.
We've got the best in music just for you.
Alright, welcome back in to the second half of the Scoreboard Show right here on the Tri-Cities Best Country. I'm Kid Coggins here on your Thursday afternoon. So, in case everybody missed it in the last half of the show, William Blount shuts out Union County 56-0. Here's another score for you. I'm kind of disappointed in this one. I feel like Volunteers should have won this one, but they didn't. So, anyways, David Crockett defeats Volunteer 38-18. Yeah, David Crockett wins that one, defeating Volunteer 38-18. And I've got more scores coming up. Hopefully this one won't be as long as the last segment was, but you never can tell. So yeah, I got more scores coming up in just a moment. Alright, so Sevier County tops Hardin Valley. Yeah. Alright, 19-14 with that one. So I guess Sevier County, I guess they did a good job winning that one, huh? I guess they did a good one winning that one. Alright, I guess this score doesn't really matter, because don't even know who this team played, but the score was 19-16 with Northview Academy. I don't know if they were on top or what have you, so we're not even gonna really worry about that. And that was in the fourth quarter, so you can just pretty much, yeah, you could look that up if you want to. I'm just saying that score just because, so there will not be a repeat of that one. I will not be checking that one again. So if you want to actually look up and see who they played, you know, you can go to CoachD.com and look that up. Anyways, we'll be back in just a moment with the last few scores and wrap this up and get back to the music, alright? Alright, so I kind of like this. Happy Valley rolled over Hancock County 40-6. I think that's pretty good. And of course, as you guys remember, they rolled over Eagleton Academy and 38 to 12 in that game. So, let's see what else we got here. See what other scores he talks about. And hopefully, we'll wrap this thing up. I keep saying that, but, we'll get the rest of the scores and close this thing off, get back to the music, and maybe have some people on the air, alright? Alright? Maybe we'll have some people on the air. So if you wanna join me for the show and hear what I have to say indirectly, then you can contact me and get on Team Talk, alright? You can contact me and myself or Herbie Allen will get you an account set up. So we'll be back in a moment with more scores. So stay tuned, alright? Alright, so South Green falls to wow. Or not South Green, I'm sorry about that. Seymour falls to South Green 35 to 25. See? It's where you record things because you never know when you'll mess up like I just did. So once again, Seymour falls to South Green 35 to 25. And we'll be back in just a moment with more scores and updates and all that jazz, alright? So, yeah, Seymour falls to South Green 35 to 25. Back in a moment. Alright, so, this next one here is an update. It's not the final. I don't know the final to this one, and I'm not gonna look it up, okay? So, like I've been saying throughout this whole show, if you will, everything that I've talked about can be found at CoachT.com. Now for us blind people, it's not all that accessible. So they might want to fix that. I don't know if they will or not. So anyways, we're just gonna say this. Thomas Walker was leading Unaka by a score of 38 to 26. At least that's what I heard. It's kind of hard to tell, but anyways, there you go. There's another just because score, alright? So, we're back with more in a moment. Alright, here's one now that I don't believe, I actually heard this on Saturday night. Doing the high school report on the Ball Network. Because I was listening on ESPN Tri-Cities. So, apparently, Bearden has not defeated Maryville since 1993. I want to say that score is it's somewhere in the 20s. Hang on, let me go back and listen there. Alright, so Bearden versus Maryville. How about that? 21 to 20. Bearden defeated Maryville. And that game was in overtime. So there we go. I believe the Jefferson County game was in overtime as well. They played Morristown East, I believe it was. Or they played Morristown West. Yeah, that's right. They played Morristown West. Hey, anyways, let's see what else we got here. All right, let me take a listen there, and I'll come back, and yeah, I'll be back in a minute. All right, and Bradley Central, yeah, defeats Farragut 28-20. So, for Farragut fans, I'm sorry, but that's how the cookie crumbles, alright? I mean, I'm just the broadcaster. I could, you know, I could care less. I'm just gonna be honest. I mean, these games aren't local to me anyway. I mean, there's only about, I mean, the Johnson City one, the Bristol one, the Kingsport one, Daniel Boone, Westridge, David Crockett. Those are some of the local games that are local in my area. But the rest of these, I don't even talk about these. This is the first time I've talked about any of these. Like, you know. But anyway, we're gonna pause for a second, and I'll be back with the final few scores and see what we got here with the Jefferson County and Morristown West game. Alright, I'm still waiting on that Jefferson County thing, but we'll get to that in a minute, I suppose. Excuse me. Anyways, Alcoa defeats Knoxville West 24-7. Alright, so there you go. There's your scores, and we'll be back hopefully with the Morristown, the Morristown West versus Jefferson County game. See who wins, even though I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Jefferson County. So we'll be back in a minute. Alright, so as we assumed, or as I assumed I should say, Jefferson County won against Morristown West, I believe it was. Anyways, that final score was 27-26. Don't have a final, I don't have a final for Northview Academy. Turns out Northview Academy played Knox Carter. If you want the final, you can go look that up. So that's gonna bring us to a conclusion of the sports show today, or of the school board show rather. And on that note, let's get back to the music now and the Kid Coggins radio show. So thank you all for tuning in to the school board show. I'll come back next week with more. As for who Elizabethton plays, I'm gonna make it hard on you. I'm just gonna say you're gonna have to listen to WBJ and find out, because I'm not looking that up. I said I would, but just slipped my mind, and I've been trying to go through all these scores and everything. So yeah. Anyways. I did read on their website. I mean, if you want to go look it up, it's WBJ.com, and you can look at the sports and see who Elizabethton will be playing. I know one point on there, one of the days in October, one of the Fridays in October, that is, Elizabethton has a to-be-determined game. So we'll wait to see what that does, what happens with that. But as for the final scoreboard show, you can listen to that every Friday night with Scott Stevens and Daniel Pennington on ESPN Tri-Cities. So, we're done for today. We are finished with the scoreboard show. So, thank you for tuning in, and we'll head back to the music now. You're listening to the Tri-Cities Best Country. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to the show. Alright, there we go. So, gonna run a quick test right now. See if I turn the monitor off, if anyone will be able to hear me. So let's do that now. Alright, so that is done. And as for the live stream that I did last night, since NVDA wanted to talk during that, and I restreamed the scoreboard show tonight, I will be deleting that one from last night and keeping this one, since I figured out that if I set the desktop audio to line 1 in virtual audio cable, it'll only pick up station playlist and not NVDA. So yeah, the Cloudland versus North Green score was 46-8, and that is all for tonight. Join me tomorrow and Thursday on WJOS Radio, because tomorrow it's going to be a Anything Goes show. Might play some Cards Against Humanity if I can ever get RS Games set up correctly, and taking requests, and so just anything goes. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. and then on Thursday at 2 p.m. not really anything goes, because I kind of have a priority with that one, because that is the Kid Coggins radio show. And Wednesday is just anything goes show. So join me tomorrow at 4 p.m. and join me Thursday at 2 p.m. on the Tri-Cities Best Country, WJOS Radio. And yeah, you can listen on Apple Music. Just tell Siri to play WJOS Radio on Apple Music, or tell Alexa to play WJOS Radio on TuneIn. There's a couple of easy ways to listen, even though there's ads before it, but that's fine. Anyway, hope everybody enjoyed this. Hope everybody has a great night. I hope this was enjoyable. I'm glad it actually worked. It didn't mess anything up, and worked perfectly fine with not getting NVDA coming through, which is exactly what I was hoping it would do, and it did. So, yay. Like I said, I'll be deleting that stream from last night, because even though this one's called Audio Test, it still has a scoreboard show in it. But since I was in NVDA in that stream last night, I deleted it. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, I will be back probably tomorrow to run some tests or something. I don't know. All I know is that if I ever am able to broadcast high school ball games, or have somebody do it for me and just broadcast them on my station or something, via Team Talk or what have you, then that'll be great, because it will hopefully only pick them up when I bring them on the air, and it'll not pick up NVDA. So yeah, anyways, that's just future stuff that I have in mind, and that will work out great if that ever happens. Anyway, so thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys later, and good night and goodbye.